You would not think that this would be a very efficacious training split.
All right. Next up, we have a study in trained men. So men who were already resistance training, they'd been lifting weights for a period of time. One thing that I noted about this was the training split. So it was really interesting to take a look at the exercise selection here. And essentially this is like a circuit style training versus traditional strength training. And they were looking at how much strength was gained, how much lean body mass was gained, how much fat was lost. And just first impression, Kyle, what do you think of this split here? So they only picked 6 exercises to do for this entire, how long was this study period? So they only picked...
Was it 12 weeks? It was relatively short. And they're using trained individuals. So let's say they're using the average gym bro. So I would think that this is probably, and I obviously know the results, but just looking at it at face value, you would not think that this would be a very efficacious training split. The first 3 exercises, you only have 35 seconds of rest. So maybe call that CrossFit style. Superset. And the first one is knee flexion. Next one is bench press. All right, that's pretty good. Next one is ankle extension. So I guess maybe more of those individuals have bigger calves than we do.
That's where most of us are lacking in lean body mass, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your first 3 exercises. So I think it's interesting that they started with knee flexion, which is a fancy way to say leg curl.
Yeah.
And then followed that up with bench press. Presumably you would want to work from the largest muscle group to the smallest.
Yep.
And then ankle extension, so like some sort of a calf raise of sorts, seated, standing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second set of exercises, because they did get a 5-minute rest between their 2 working supersets.
Yeah.
They did lat pull down.
Okay. Pretty good.
Important to do your lat pull downs before you do your squats. So they did lat pull downs, 35 seconds of rest, squats, 35 seconds of rest, and then elbow flexion. So curls of some sort.
So they like their biceps and their calves. If you had to pick 6 exercises, regardless of what exercise physiologist or physical therapist you would ask, you wouldn't expect ankle extension and elbow flexion to be in that.
Yeah, probably not. You could probably swap the lat pull down for something like a chin up or a chin up assist and hit both your lats and your biceps that way. So, I mean, you could have picked some better exercises, but I think the moral of this story is that you can have some pretty poor programming, but if it's done consistently, and I did double check, this was an 8-week time period, training 3 times per week. So essentially a whole body workout 3 times a week, which is kind of a common theme that you see in a lot of high school athletics programs, because those kids can respond to a lot of volume. And in these studies, even adults, if somebody is recovering well enough, then they can respond to that volume, especially if it's a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. And here's the chart looking at the total changes in body fat and lean mass pre and post training intervention. Mm-hmm. And there was a control group here. It really wasn't clear reading through the study what that was, but I assume this was individuals that they said, keep training like you always do, because they actually lost a little bit of fat and gained a little bit of lean body mass. So control group, very small changes. They went from 20.3 to 19.9% body fat. And their lean mass, they gained 0.3 kilos of lean mass, so less than a pound of lean mass in the same 8-week period. How about let's call it CrossFit group? How did they do compared to traditional strength training?
The CrossFit group did great. They gained a surprising amount of lean mass. Let's see, they changed 1.2 and they lost 0.8 pounds of fat and lean mass, respectively. So they also achieved body recomposition.
What I thought was what I thought was interesting here, because this is your circuit training here, is that they actually started off significantly leaner and heavier than your traditional strength training group. So your CrossFitters went from 20.1% body fat down to 18.6, whereas your traditional strength training, they started off a little bit, fatter body percentage wise, 21.8 down to 20.7. So the circuit training seemed to be better for fat loss, even though they were leaner at the beginning of the study.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. They also started off with slightly more absolute lean body mass, about 3 pounds more lean body mass before and about 4 pounds lean body mass after.
Yeah, I think that's actually kilos. So they were substantially larger than their counterparts. We did some of these conversions, but forgive us if from time to time we say pounds or kilos, but we'll put these charts up on the screen for everyone to look at as well.